April showers bring May flowers, but some plants are already showing out this spring. We're taking a trip down to Chilton County to see our friend Jason Powell from Petals from the Past. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you, Mike. You doing okay?
I'm doing fine. Now, I will say my yard's not seeing a lot of blooming yet, but you are apparently seeing lots of it.
We are, thankfully, and we were trying to declare officially spring, Mike, and if this is early, I wanted to mention a few things that can be showing color this early in the season for sure.
Okay.
Perennial-wise, we're starting to see, thankfully, some of our native wildflowers like the wild pink or Silene here and the Louisiana phlox. These guys are awesome. They're more shade tolerant than sun tolerant, and a walk on the woods, you're going to stumble across those guys. We're finishing out with our bulbs, so we're getting the last of the daffodils and a few of the old-fashioned tulips. They're kind of on their way out as these perennials transition in. And then we're going to shift into some of the earlier ones. We've got some of the early varieties of salvia and pincushion flower. This is kind of a grandmother's favorite. And then for a little bit of height in the landscape as we move into the sun, there's some early shrubs. Right on the heels of our old-fashioned spirea, we get the old-fashioned deutzia. This is a nice dwarf shrub, only about 3 to 4 feet in full bloom right now. And then this one's a particular favorite of mine. I think this is going to be one of our best replacements for the dogwood if we lose the dogwood. This is one of our viburnums. And there's so many great viburnums, including ones we've talked about before, Mike, the old-fashioned snowball viburnum.
Oh, yeah.
It's killing it. It's killing it right now. And then we've even got a little bit of a start on some of our roses. Their buds are there, and with these warm temperatures, they are jumping out there. And that 10-day forecast looks so nice. We're even seeing great show with our native azaleas. These guys have just been really pushing the limits. They made it through that December freeze, and they're doing so nicely right now.
Jason, we know some people will wait after April 15th, the last threat, usually of frost here in the South and Alabama. You think it's okay, but you mentioned the forecast, okay to start going in and planting some of those things?
Well, that's the way, especially the way if they've been grown outside. So when you're at the nurseries, make sure to double check and say, hey, were these coming out of a greenhouse? If they come out of a greenhouse, April 15th is a good deadline. Okay. We like to grow ours outside. Let it fluctuate temperatures. Let that wind blow on it. Let the rain blow on it, and then you can feel more confident about going ahead and put it in the ground.
All right, and lastly, I want to go back to the shade-tolerant plants that you showed. There's some of the flowering plants. Would those also be good in, preventing erosion if somebody's having an issue with that?
Definitely, and that's something we always look at is you think about, okay, well, how do you control a bank that's eroding with all the rainfall that we're having? We're getting 4 and 5 inches at a time, and perennial ground covers like these phlox are a great route to go because as they spread and get larger, they root wherever they lay their heads down. So they kind of hold that top 2.5, 3 inches in place. They offer you good foliage and then beautiful blooms. Both of those are evergreen during the winter, so they're a nice option for holding that bank together.
All right, some great information there. You can check out more at Petals from the Past down there. Jason Powell, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.